text messaging and its impact on student success in an online course, a mixed methods study. Text messaging is an emerging tool that educators are currently using for multiple purposes. And the one question that comes in an online learning environment is that how best to get in touch with students or provide them feedback instantly about their performance in the class. Now, text message will help provide a mean of communicating with students in a way that does not require anybody or the student to go either and log in online before they can read it. Unlike the face-to-face, where students can see their instructor get a feedback to all their questions, in an online environment, one of the ways that students can get that feedback is to either read their email or read a comment on their papers through when they go to the learning management system. So the question here that comes to mind is that how can we use text messaging, to close that communication gap between instructor and the student in an online course? And that brings us to the purpose of the study, which is to examine the impact of using text messaging as a form of communication on student success in an online computing course in a community college in Illinois. Success here is defined as a student having a final grade of C and above. And the study will use a mixed methods design, which will call for quantitative data to be collected using surveys and qualitative data using group interviews. The research questions that are going to be tackled in the study are the following. The study will try to find out the effects of using text message on student learning in an online course. Not only that, they also look at the impact that the use of text message have on their success in the online course. For the qualitative question, it is going to dive into the student perceptions or how of the use of text messaging in online course. And for the mixed method research question is to find out how do the qualitative findings help support the qualitative results. For the literature review, the researcher is going to dive so much into the state of distance education, and all we know that currently distance education is expanding. And a survey done in 2013 about total enrollment in this course showed that 6.7 million of the students are currently enrolled or were enrolled at that time, which is a huge number. And another study done by Tyndall and Bolender in 2012 also said that college students on campus, claim that most of the time they text. That's 95% of them text each other when they want to communicate. They don't call, but they do text each other most of the time. And not only that, another study conducted by Herbert in 2006 also concluded that the student believe that when they get feedback to them, when the instructor get them feedback on a timely basis in an online learning course, that helps them do well. So you see there is a gap in the literature review here. There's a gap in the sense that most of the studies would talk about either student learning perception, but there is not a clear review, a clear research being done when it comes to how text messaging will help improve student success in a distance education. And that is where the theory framework will come in. The researcher is going to use a transactional distance theory and interaction theory to frame this study. The transactional theory states that the amount of dialogue that exists between the learner and the instructor in a distance learning environment is really important. He also believes that that particular structure that they have, the way the course is structured is important, but if it is more structured, it leads to lesser interaction between the student and the teacher. But at the same time, communication is one of the most important elements for distance education. So out of that, you could see the interaction part of it is really important. That is where Moore went on to develop the interaction theory, a model of theory, where he was talking about the importance of learner to the instructor, from learner to the content, and from learner to the learner. From the learner to the instructor, which is going to be my focus when it comes to this particular study, he said that it is perhaps the most important, the most distinguishing factor that makes a student do well in their class. Yes, students will have an interaction with the content, but still, if they don't understand, after reading the content, they don't make sense of it, the first thing they do, they want some guidance from the instructor. They go back and contact the instructor. And does the instructor get back to them on a timely basis? That goes a long way to affect the way they do in the class. Even the learner to learner interaction comes in when the students also work with their co-workers or their co-student or their peers to be able to understand, collaborate together, work on project together. That also helps in the learning of the subject. The philosophical worldview that drives this design or that drives this research method is the pragmatist worldview. And according to Creswell, pragmatist worldview focuses on the consequences of the research. Here, that means that it is important. The finding of the research is what matters most. Not only that, it's not the method that is really looked at, but the questions that have been asked in the study is what matters. And we can use multiple methods also to collect data to inform the problem that is under study. And it's very practical. Yes, it's very practical because what we are looking for to get to the bottom of the question whether text messages help, that is something that is being talked about here. The design of the study is going to be under the convergent design, parallel design. Convergent parallel design, according to Creswell, once again said that the quantitative and qualitative data collection are all going to be done at the same time. And the quantitative and qualitative also data collection should have the same priority, meaning that one method is not more important than the other. They have the same priority. And when data are collected, they are separately analyzed before they are merged together for the result to be interpreted. And this is the diagram to show how it is done. Quantitative data collection and quantitative data analysis separately, and the qualitative data collection analysis also done separately before the both analyses are merged together, and the result is now going to be interpreted. The data collection itself is going to take place in a community college in Illinois, where 4 sections are going to be randomly selected with 25 students from each of the section, totally 100. All the students are going to be first-year students. An online survey, made up of 34 questions are going to be put together and sent for them to complete. For the qualitative sampling, it's going to be purposeful sampling because the researcher want to concentrate and make sure that it gets to everyone, whether someone who has an excellent grade or have a medium grade or have a poor grade, all are going to be selected to be part of the second of the qualitative sampling, whereby the researcher will organize the group interview of 4, or group interview that they made up of 4 questions. So this is an example of the instrument are going to be using to collect the survey question, that the quantitative data, which is a distance education learning environment survey form, and also another set of questions which mostly goes in to get the perception of the student, which is the second question under the quantitative question. Data analysis will take place in a way that when quantitative data are collected, they are analyzed, they are tabulated, given a numeric value. And SPSS, software is going to be used to code the numeric value, and a codebook is going to be developed based on the responses options. And for the qualitative data analysis, the interview are going to be transcribed and saved as a Word document. They are going to be categorized and make sure they are going to also to be double checked for accuracy, just to make sure that everything is as supposed to be before they are fed into another Vino, which is another statistical software. And the general theme will be determined from the responses. Now, once that is done, so both sets of them, once again, they are being collected under the mixed data analysis. Once they are collected concurrently, analyzed separately, and they are going to be merged together in the tabular format before they are interpreted. And this comes to the end of the presentation. These are some of the references that I used for the presentation. Thank you for listening.